this is a topic that we've harped on, you know, and this is just basically setting the stage for more, you know what I mean? So,
all right, Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, me and the brother Shalawami out here again. All right, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Baha'u'llah, Kakodash.
All right, we're going to give double honor to our elders and apostles from Great Millstone who taught us his truth and peace and blessings to you brothers that's doing this work of truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and men, women, and children. All right, so we out here with another live lesson. We're going to dive into wars and rumors of wars because it's, you know,
The stage is being set.
the stage is being set. All right, the scriptures say that there's a time and a place for all things. All right, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for war, a time for peace. Right now we're in the time of war because we're leading up into what? The time of peace, which we know that the scriptures say, even Isaiah, I want to say Isaiah, all right, let me see it clear up. But it said, Isaiah says that when we get our land, there shall be no more violence.
Oh yeah, you ain't got to get that. You can kind of paraphrase that.
It was a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
I think it was Isaiah 60. But what kind of made me like read that too was if you watch the new brothers is out there watching lessons. You can see IUIC. They had a whole little rally, joint rally with Nation of Islam.
The fuck?
In an attempt to stop violence in the black community.
That doesn't.
Marching.
Was this recent?
Yeah, very recent. Yeah, I think it happened either today or yesterday.
Okay, that's see that's going off because the scriptures say that we gotta wait upon the Lord.
Right.
Like there won't be any rest on His side.
Not only that,
and
the
kingdom shall not listen.
How do you think we're going to get into the kingdom? By
violence.
By violence.
And it says they shall
sedition among men, invading one another, wars and rumors of wars. Neighbors shall fight with swords. Like, bro, what do y'all not understand about
that great slaughter, that great
for Jacob's trouble? So, what do y'all think? Jacob's trouble is just going to be one-sided. It's not going to be no violence. No. That Jacob's just going to all stop violence and rise up together, and they're trying to establish their kingdom on this side, man, with their own hands. Yeah. But whatever.
No, that's going off actually. They're trying to offset in their own way. They're trying to offset prophecy. That doesn't make any sense. The Nation of Islam in IUIC ain't gonna be doing nothing against the scriptures, bro. It's not scriptural. It'll never happen.
Well, remember what the scriptures say. What IUIC is Bishop Nate, right? He's the epitome of the scripture where it says prophesying to us smooth things.
Yep.
All right, don't speak lies into us, because that's how he has such a huge following. Why do you think he has such a huge following? Yahushua didn't have a huge following in comparison to how you see it. Well, one, they're all about glory, glamour, the flyest garments, and just the trips and traveling with, all that stuff is cool and all that.
Because we're going to get that to come.
But your doctrine comes by the way of false teachings, and it's just nothing but like Christianity with a new twist.
Yeah, right? That's just a little
Christ and Most High and God.
What is it? Most High, Christ bless, or something like that. Something they say, man.
Whatever.
But all right, to get back on topic, we just want to get into these prophecies real quick. And the major one we're talking about is, wars and rumors of wars. And the reason why is because if you haven't been noticing, right, we already been seeing wars breaking out in the Middle East, Russia, and everything like that. But if you've been paying attention to the details of these wars, you would know that it's starting to get to a tipping point. And this election that's coming up is going to be a major domino piece, right? A major domino piece. Because if Trump gets back in office, it will maybe satiate a little bit of the war with Russia. Mm-hmm. But if Kamala Harris gets in office, World War III will start. You also got to understand what's going on in the Middle East with the Hamas in Iran and Israel. Those things are also becoming more of a tipping point, right? The Lord is hardening these, what's how you say his name, Netanyahu, whatever, the Israel president. The Lord is hardening this man's heart because they've even had ceasefire deals on the table, and this man is like, no, fuck y'all. And he keeps bombing. And now recently, Israelis have been fleeing the land of Israel because more and more bombs are starting to land in Israel. Before it was like the Iron Dome was taking most of it down. But how long can the Iron Dome keep up? how many days of war, how many missiles and missile defense systems do you have to actually
Till
keep
it
up?
malfunctions.
Or you run out of anti missiles, whatever. Right? This is why America keeps sending more weapons and money, because eventually things are going to dry up. So I'm going to get into this article that says, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. It looks like the lake of fire. Get that real quick. That's what the Lord is coming to do to the earth.
Did you see that? Did you see the post I put up on IG yesterday? I meant to send it to brothers in the group chat, but brothers got Android, so I can't really send videos.
I ain't see it.
I was riding up near Grant Ave, near the Giant, and when I left my crib going to the market, I smelled like I'm driving. I had my windows down because it was nice out that night. I'm riding, and I was on Sunday.
Shalom, Moses.
Yesterday, Shalom, and I'm smelling smoke and shit. I'm like coughing in my car. It was bad. It was smoky. This was like blocks away. I turn the corner. I'm looking all the way, probably like a quarter mile down the road. I see like lights in the distance. And I know if it was an ambulance or a fire truck. Lo and behold, I'm pulling up. I see all these people standing outside. I look to my right. I see all this fire in the woods. It's like community or some shit. Damn. You see like the tents and the chairs. Yeah. It was burning crazy. I'm gonna show you the video when it came out.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was wild. Fire trucks, police. But I had recorded and posted. I said precursor.
Precursor.
And then you kind of comment said soon to be all of America.
Soon to be all. Man, most of the world is gonna be on fire, man.
It was crazy because I'd never been that close to like a big ass fire. You just hear it.
You can hear it crickling, and then you can smell it, and then it's hard to breathe.
It was hard to shit.
Yep.
Wow, bro.
Wild shit. All right, so the article head, I'm gonna show it again, right? See that? That's what the Lord is coming to do. The article head literally says the stage is being set for cataclysmic wars in 2025. It says while the mainstream media focuses on attention on the upcoming election, the stage is being set for the unthinkable. Chess pieces are in motion all over the planet, and global leaders continue to drag us in directions that we should not want to go. If everyone truly understood where current events were taking us, there would be massive protests in every major city right now. The comfortable lifestyles that so many of us take for granted are about to be shattered. The U.S. could soon find itself involved in several major wars simultaneously, and we are definitely not prepared for such a scenario. It says most Americans could not even pick out Taiwan on a blank map of the world, but for the Chinese, the island of Taiwan is the utmost importance. On Thursday, the Chinese general told Jake Sullivan to his face that Taiwan is the first red line that must not be crossed. A top Chinese general on Thursday told White House and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan that the U.S. must stop its collusion with Taiwan during a high-stakes meeting in Beijing. General Zhang Zhaozi, Vice Chairman of China's Central Military Commission, told Sullivan that Taiwan is at the very core of China's core interests, the bedrock of the political foundation of China-U.S. relations, and the first red line that must not be crossed, according to the readout from the Chinese Minister of National Defense. It says the PLA will definitely take countermeasures against the provocations of the Taiwan Independent Forces. The readout said Zhang had told Sullivan, using an acronym for Chinese military, the People's Liberation Army, China urges the U.S. to stop military collusion with Taiwan, stop arming Taiwan, stop spreading false narratives of Taiwan, and stay out of our territory. The Chinese are very angry, and they have been preparing to take military action against Taiwan for a very long time. When that finally happens, we will be at war with China, and everything will change. Now, mind you, we already talked so much about how all these nations, right? It says that Magog and Gog shall be a defense unto the nations, talking about Russia, right? Russia and its territories. Now look at all the smaller nations. Now we know China is a big nation, right? Moab is a really big nation. They actually have the largest army. They don't have the best weapons, but they have the largest army. So we understand that they want, so Russia wants Ukraine.
Shalom, Mike.
Shalom, Maki, shalom. China wants Taiwan. And we also got to understand something. America is too spread thin on so many fronts as it is,
Rome all over again,
that
man.
There's no way they're going to be able to keep up with all these wars, which in turn is going to make America do what? What is it that the white man was blessed with? The sword. So when the white man is pushed his back against the corner, what is he going to do? What is his fail-safe? What is his fail-safe?
Missiles, bro.
Missiles. And you think he ain't going to be the first one to push one when he about to lose?
Mm-hmm.
Other places on the earth might get nuked. right? I'm not saying that it's going to be the lake of fire like here in America, but other places are going to get hit.
Major cities.
It's going to be major cities,
but not lands and
but not like entire continents.
The entire country.
I'm saying continent because North America, the continent, is going to be wiped, right? But there's nuclear war is on the horizon. People need to understand that this election that's coming up, bro. It's just the end. It's just the nail in the coffin. Because at the end of the day, war is inevitable because it's spoken about in the scriptures. And we also know that the so-called white man is too proud to pull out of Taiwan. They already vowed to Taiwan that they will make sure they keep their independence. They already vowed to Israel that they will always back them, right? They already vowed to Japan that they will back them. Guess what? China, not fucking around with Taiwan. Taiwan is this little speck compared to big-ass China. Easy to be wiped off the face of the earth. So they need America to support them. But America does not have the infantry, the capacity to keep up with all these wars. They already sent billions and billions of dollars into Ukraine, and they're losing that war. You sent billions and billions of dollars into the Middle East to try to help destabilize with Afghanistan and Iraq. That didn't work. You pulled out of there after so many years after destabilizing it. Now you got the entire Middle East, if you want to call it the Middle East, the Arab nations, all starting to come together as a great big force. You got BRICS, then basically consuming them and they're all being up under that banner. America is literally about to be caught with his dick in his hand. It's as simple as that, bro. It's about to go down for America. The implosion is happening. You see what's going on over in Colorado, right? When the Venezuelan gangs are up here taking over all whole apartment complexes, and then with machine guns and guns, and the cops the cops can't do nothing about it. So what is that going to in turn do? Then what? With the Proud Boys, not the Proud Boys, or the National something, a white militia group just went up to Colorado to try to help clear out the Venezuelans because the government won't help. What is also that going to turn into? Civil war, yep. Race wars. This is all happening right now as we speak.
Especially once Americans discover the kind of power they actually possess.
Mm-hmm. With guns?
When they realize, so like for example, like let's say these Proud Boys type dudes do this, and they make these moves, and they realize like, yo, we able, as long as we got guns, and we got men, we can make moves like this.
Mm-hmm.
And, yo, they're not really doing nothing.
You also understand these Venezuelan gangs probably ain't got as many weapons as Americans in the land.
Americans is
loaded. Bro, I just got them watching this guy.
I got coworkers who got they're like, yo, they'll show me their arsenal. I'm like, nigga, who are you, John Wick?
Exactly.
Yo, I'm like regular dudes. Like, but, man, I got this P67 FT with the extra 12-inch barrel, and I got the red straw. I'm like looking at this shit. Yo, he got 17 guns. I'm like, bro. Mm-hmm. And he carried 2 on him. I'm like, yo, these boys not playing.
But guess what? The Lord allowed that. The Lord allowed this land to be that way because the Lord is going to allow this land to be consumed by its own people. Exactly. Trust me, Jacob's trouble is going to be so. This is why it's going to be so much bloodshed. We're the land of guns and weapons.
Everybody has guns.
Do you want to know how easy it is to get a gun license in Philadelphia? I'm going to make this easy. You go online, you pay $26, and have one person be a referral. They don't even call the referral.
And a week later, you get the letter.
2 weeks later, you get the letter. Oh, go pick up your fucking license, get your fingerprints and shit, and you're done.
Then go to a gun store.
And then like,
you could go to a gun store and buy a gun, but this is just the carry.
This is the carry.
You could go to a gun store right now. Yo, I like that right there. All right, it's $4.99. Here you go.
Yep.
Right, let me get 4 cases of ammo too.
Right. Our pop bought a freaking shotgun. Don't even ask me why. He has a little arsenal too. He buys a shotgun and then buys zombie rounds. It literally says on the box, zombie rounds. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck is that for?
Who are you trying to shoot?
What are we shooting? He's like, yeah, it's good to have. Because my dad be like, he'd be like, all that stuff y'all talk about, what y'all call it, Jacob's trouble? All that shit y'all talk, go ahead and try to come up in this motherfucker. He's like, yo, Pop, it don't work that way. If the Lord wants you going, you're going to be gone. He'd be like, all right, well, I'm going to be with y'all, so. Like, all right, Pop. But, yo, we only saying all this because civil war is coming. This election is going to be tell all. Because for you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that are still voting, if you don't stop being dumb and look at the policies on both sides, you're fucked. They got Agenda 25 on Trump's side, right? And then on Kamala Harris' side, she's trying to, the capital gains taxes and all that. Put it like this. She's trying to have taxes and tax the people so much higher that, I'm going to make this easy for you. The taxes with her new tax bill is going to be so crazy that you will literally work until the day you die. There won't be another retirement. Well, the Lord gonna sweep the shit under. The Lord gonna clean the shit up before it happens. But I'm just
saying,
hypothetically, if it was to go on, you will literally work until the day you die. They say the age of retirement is about 67.
Yeah, they just raised it. No, they just raised
They
it.
just raised it 67. I think it used to be 2 years, so it's 65. You're not going to be able to enjoy your retirement because you're going to be such in debt because they're taking so much money from you that you're going to have to work to the day
You know how many
you
people
die.
retire from their job to collect a pension?
Yep. There won't be a pension.
401k, didn't get another job because that's not enough. Because you only get a percentage of your income. You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah, I got another article I want to grab one too because we talked about Now, mind you, I'm not going to read this entire article because it also goes to.
Yeah, let me get this real quick. This is going into the wars and stuff.
Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 19, start at 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits and wizards.
Now, mind you, this scripture is profound because it says city against city. It will be actually like that. People are going to be like, where you from?
Hey, it hits all fronts. Egyptians against Egyptians, which basically just goes really going into America, right?
Yep.
Americans against Americans. That's the Civil War we're talking about.
Yep.
City against cities, right? That could be countries. That could be neighboring towns. That's a neighbor against neighbor.
Yep.
Kingdom against
They
kingdom.
already got that now.
Yep.
You're not from around here. They got redlining and zones. We know you're not from around here. People going to be shooting on sight.
Neighborhoods gonna start banding together against other. You ain't from. From 22nd to 26th Street, nigga. From
that shit gonna be
Walnut to Chestnut.
Con,
you ain't around here. You ain't from around here.
Yep, it's gonna get crazy. And then, not to mention, but remember, America has already divided most cities and towns into races, right?
Yeah.
Like if you come to Philadelphia, it's a melting pot. But in certain areas, you know where certain areas are. Like right now, we in Northeast Philly. In this area right here is a lot of tribes, a lot of Brazilian, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Venezuelan, all that. Right? Then you got the so-called blacks. They all mixed in, but you have still zones. Like a lot of Brazilians is this one little area. Then you got a lot of Dominicans in this one little area, but they kind of like overlap. Then you got black people over here. Then boom, but then you go farther up northeast, and you got nothing but Indians and Russians and Ukrainians,
and Asians.
And then you go over, it's like a whole Jewish community-ish. I say ish, Jewish community. They're already zoned off, right? That's why if you Meek Mill talk about North Philly, you go down there, you already know it's just nothing but niggas out there, right? And then they got little war zones in between each other over what block you from, which set you from. It's always some bullshit, man.
Shalom, Caleb.
Shalom. So you gotta understand, the Lord is setting the stage for war, man. People are gonna be family members are gonna be warned, giving up one another, bro. Yeah. People gonna be your enemy. The scriptures talk about how your enemies will be in your own household. You gotta understand, like all of that's going on. The Lord is coming back to bring so much division to this place that, mind you, we all know the war tactic: divide and conquer. What the fuck do you think the Lord is doing? The Lord, go ahead. He's letting everybody divide because he is the author of division. And then what he's going to do is he's going to make everybody turn on each other. So there's all these small things. It's going to go from communities to towns to cities to states to countries to whole continents. That's how the war is going to go. In every last place on this earth, there will be war. No one will be able to hide from war. Right? And then you gotta think about it, the end all be all when Yahweh Shah comes back and then wages war with the earth. So literally, this is why it says that the Lord shall open up his full armory. Yeah. Remember, the Lord's army can be anything. He can send locusts, he can turn up the heat, he can turn down the heat, make it cold out here. And the Lord can send bugs and cut off the water supply, put diseases out here. The Lord can literally use anything, but the Lord is so crafty that he's going to literally give a shitstorm of different things. He's going to send out pestilence, right? He's going to send out different diseases and shit. Then he's going to send out race wars, and then he's going to send out all the evil spirits that lay on sore strokes, man. That people have to get that. I can.
Sirach 39 and 28. there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them.
So look, this is also part of the Lord's armory. He's even going to send out those spirits that were just created for destruction, that just were created for judgment, just were created for just the most vile torture you could possibly think of, man. Your worst nightmares, the Lord's created them, and they're literally just waiting to be loose. Like, hey, Pop, is ready? Mm-hmm. Not yet? All right. They're over there meditating terror on the earth. Mm-hmm. They up there meditating terror in the spirit world, meditating terror on the earth, man. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, verse 29, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Mm-hmm. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word.
So literally, the Lord is telling us that almost everything is in wait for that great day. Mm-hmm. Everything is sleeper cells. Wait. So that means your dog in your crib, your cat, your snake that you thought you had a nice pet, boa constrictor, whatever the pythons people be having. You think all this shit is just, they waiting for the Lord to say, take the world, and they gonna turn up on you, man. Pestilence, bro, the wild beast, and then the sword. The sword goes into what? Modern day weapons as well. The gun, a sword. I got a sword. I got a whole samurai sword. You'd be surprised what people gonna be using, man. Right? You gotta understand the time that the Lord is. We're in a time of war, and it's speeding up rapidly. While so many of you Babylonians, aka Americans, are so sleep to it, man. Right? We just got them talking about how. America can't really wage any more wars. The army is so spread out. So what's going to end up happening when it's so spread out? What's the first thing that America's going to have to do because the armies are so spread out, and then all of a sudden they're going to go into another 2 or 3 more wars that they can't even handle? Draft. Mm-hmm. It's common sense. The draft, right? And there's an article. Let me get this article real quick.
Yeah, you know it's a thing because people are talking about it. I just seen a post about it earlier today, actually. Somebody put up a little post and was like, yeah, y'all need to draft. It was just, they was making satire of it, but it was like, y'all need to draft all the men that like to hit on women since they want to fight so bad.
Right? There's another article that just says, America isn't ready for another war because it doesn't have the troops. Mm-hmm. So where do you think they're going to find the troops? Right? Where do you think they're going to find the troops? Right? They already put it in movies. What they're going to do is they're going to create a draft, right? Right? And then you got to understand how many people are not going to want to join this war. Right. So they're going to create conditions for you to want to join the war. Famine, which they've already been systematically controlling. Pestilence, right? Or crashing of the dollar, right? They're going to do something so drastic where then you're going to be forced. If you want 3 hots in a cot, join the military. You want to protect your family, join the military. You want to be able to pay for your house that you about to be evicted out of. You want that car that you driving, that debt you in, join the military, right? They're going to loop a lot of people in. That's why the scriptures talk about get that second address. Those who die from famine, and then those that didn't die from the famine die from the sword. I think it's section 15 chapter maybe, either 15 or 16. But this is literally what's coming, right? So I'm gonna read some of this article while the brothers finding that. It says coverage of the wars in Ukraine and Gaza is mostly dominated by talk of weapons. Reporters and analysts focus on suicide drones, on shell deficits, on targeting algorithms, but for all the attention devoted to modern weapons and munitions, both conflicts are proving that modern war still comes down to people. In Ukraine, battlefield deaths on both sides were estimated to number more than 200,000 by the fall of 2023. Though the U.S. weapons and munitions have been critical to Kyiv's war effort, it was territorial militias and hastily trained citizen soldiers who helped to save Ukraine from total conquest in 2022. At the same time, it was a partial mobilization of more than 300,000 troops that stabilized Russia's lines and prevented a potential collapse in late 2022. Today, the war has settled into an attritional Slovakia. It says, today the war has settled into attritional slugfest, which both sides desperate to keep the flow of new recruits going to the point where ranks have opened to older men, women, and convicts. The situation is much the same in the Middle East. On October 7th, Israelis heavily automated basically they're saying that so many people are dying in the wars that are already going on that they're ranks. So if you want to come up to sergeant first class, captain, or whatever, you want to move up in ranks. They're now allowing women, and convicts and old people. Because remember, at a certain age you can't be drafted, right? At a certain age you can't be drafted. So now, elderly, women, and convicts can now join the military because they're so short of men. What do you think is coming, right? You Americans, you Babylonians that are feeling like because the war is not touching your land and you can get up in the morning and you living all deliciously, bro. The scripture says peace and safety than sudden destruction. All right. It says the situation is much the same in the Middle East. On October 7th, Israelis' heavily automated Gaza perimeter was breached by well-trained but low-tech Hamas terrorists. So look, remember I told you how now all of a sudden, because at first Israel was just sending bombs and not getting touched, so they was over there real cocky. Well, guess what? These militias, they like, yo, but we need to get our lick back. They broke through the perimeter and started killing Israeli civilians. Right? It says the attack was eventually repulsed by conscript soldiers and armed volunteers. Even in the startup nation that prides itself on its technological prowess, security depends first and foremost on people. Similar to the Russian mobilization before the invasion of Ukraine, the immediate calling up of 360,000 reservists enabled Israel to conduct its campaign against Hamas and deter other non-state foes in the West Bank and Lebanon. America did away with the draft 51 years ago. Here we go. It says America did away with the draft 51 years ago, waging its many wars and interventions since the all-volunteer force, the AVF. But all-volunteer is a misnomer, Salakia. Americans aren't lining up to serve, and the AVF is really an all-recruited force. Its previous annual recruitment of about 150,000, mostly young Americans who are individually located, pitched, and incentivized to serve comes at considerable effort and expense. The United States got through 2 foreign wars in Iraq and Afghanistan with the AVF, though neither war was a victory. A war with Russia, China, Iran, or North Korea will be an entirely different proposition, with the possibility of more casualties in a few weeks than the United States suffered in the entire global war on terrorism. But as crises overseas multiply, the immediate existential threat to the AVV and ultimately to the U.S. security is at home. There aren't enough Americans willing and able to fill the military ranks. 3 of America's 4 major military services failed to recruit enough servicemen in 2023. The Army has failed to meet its manpower goals for the last 2 years and missed its 2023 target by 10,000 soldiers, a 20% shortfall. Today, the active duty Army stand is at 445,000 soldiers, 41,000 fewer than in 2021, and the smallest it has ever been since 1940. I don't even need to keep reading on that. Understand, they're not even going to have people to recruit in their own land because civil war is going to break out. When I tell you it's going to be so much death, there's literally nothing anyone can do about it other than cling to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And I say that to you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you tribes, man. We are the only ones with any kind of hope. The rest of the people, if you make it out of Jacob's trouble, that means you were missile food. And if you make it out of missile food, that means you were meant to be a first fruit of slavery. Pick your poison. At the end of the day, you are going to pay, man. Go ahead.
So I got the 2nd Ezra 16. It was this is something further down I wanted to touch. In 18, the beginning of sorrows, great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in the fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come?
What shall ye do when these evils shall come? The thing is, it's not what shall you do is what you should have been doing before the evil came.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the caveat to that precept. It's not about what should you do when it all happens, it's what should you have been doing. You should have been clinging unto your power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, so you can avoid the atrocities and death that's coming. Right? But all those, if you have to ask this question, that means you were meant for this destruction. That's literally what it's saying right here. Go ahead.
Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victual shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case, and even then shall evil grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
For verbatim, I just said that.
Yep.
Right? You're gonna die of hunger, right? And what comes with hunger? Pestilence, because the more dead bodies means what? The more what? Parasites, the more bugs, the more rats and things that are scavengers are going to be around, which is going to push the death toll up.
Yeah.
Going to push the death toll up, and all those who are going to be trying to escape that shit gonna be like, yo man, I'm about to go join the army, bro. Fuck that. I'd rather go die in a war than be sitting here starving to death.
Well, look, this also too.
What?
Like you said, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. Yeah, dead bodies, carcasses is all over the place. Like you said, it's going to bring a lot of scavengers, animals, and decomposing animals that decompose and thrive off of decomposing flesh. And that's going to breed pestilence and parasites and shit. Then
Cesspool.
jumping down to verse 31. It says, even so in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old.
So basically, it's still going to be, even after all this death toll. You good, brother? You good?
Sorry about that.
No, you good, man. You gotta do that.
Thank you.
No, you good, brother. But you understand something? It says 3 or 4 with the sword will still be scavenging. That means there's going to be people left over. There's going to be people still out and about.
It's going to be minuscule, though.
Minuscule is they're going to be searching the houses looking for resources because everything's going to be scarce, right? You know, and part of that number could be part of the elect. He's going through, might have a weapon on you, because mind you, we're going to be on the go. We're going to be like vagabonds. We're not going to be in our houses like that. Well, actually, during this time, we'd probably be in our houses, because it says, if you go farther down, it says that then they were going to know who God's chosen are, because we're going to be living deliciously during this time. We're going to be protected during this time, right? So then there's going to be a great insurrection on those that fear the Lord. That's actually like in 73, somewhere down that way. But yeah, it's gonna be people out here. Mind you, I'm saying something. You're gonna have brothers flying around with superpowers. You're gonna have brothers with probably scavenging, going from house to house. They're gonna remember it says that even the elect shall be scarcely saved. So it's gonna be brothers gonna be going through some turmoil.
And then the Lord gonna give you rest.
Lord gonna give you rest. Like you might be in something shit for like 2 days straight, but He just delivering you. And then next you know you in a cabin. He led you all into a cabin, and you sitting there for maybe a week without any bullshit. Woo, gotta chill. Next you know they had the people who had stacked up in their freezer. Them
They just went shopping because it's a cabin, right?
Or they went hunting. They had deer meat and fucking buffalo and shit just sitting inside the fucking joint, chicken frozen. And then just so happened they had a fire, a fire stove, and you over here throw some wood in, boom, you cooking meat, you chilling. The Lord going to provide for His own, man. Right? That's why I said at the beginning of this, it's not about, if you have to ask the question, what shall I do in this time? It's too late.
Because Isaiah 33:6 says wisdom and knowledge shall be the
Stability of that time. So you're not going to be asking the question, what shall I do?
You'll be moving by faith.
You're going to be moving by faith.
That's another thing, because you know that. So you don't have to ask what to do. You're just going to move, and the Most High is going to direct your steps and guide your path, as it says.
And for you,
move by faith.
and for you brothers that are in this truth, this is also a time that right now is the time for you to be polishing yourself, if you will, getting better, man. So the Lord will defend you.
Right.
You don't want the Lord. You don't want to be spewed out during Jacob's trouble because you faltered in the last couple of months before this all went down.
Yep.
You started getting lukewarm out of nowhere when you were just on fire. That also comes with reevaluation. That's why we talk about brothers need to self-reflect daily. Because getting lukewarm is easy in this world, especially because look, inflation's going up. There's more drama in the world now than there's ever been. So your spirit has to be
it's easy to get caught up.
Your spirit has to be 10 times stronger than what you fight. Right? You can't sit here and try to have some equilibrium. You get the Lord God, your faith got to be here, and your cares of the world got to be down here. But once you let your cares of the world get like this, and you start noticing that you ain't go to camp,
the scale starts to tip in the wrong direction.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that. Next thing you know it, all of a sudden, boom, you hear martial law, bombs go off. They say they bombed the water in New York, and then it created a giant tidal wave and destroyed New York.
And you thinking like, damn, bro, I know I just left the camp like 3 months ago because I stopped coming and I got caught up and I stopped doing the work. I started reading and doing lessons. Shit, and it's too late.
You know what I noticed though?
It might be.
It's a lot of women. It's a lot of women that I know that are starting to read the Bible a lot. Like I had planted seeds on a lot of people over the years, like little small stuff, and I've been noticing, man, that the Spirit of the Lord is definitely out there, man.
Robert Daniel, I met y'all. Yo, what's up, brother? What's up?
Shalom. I wasn't there this past Saturday, brother, but shalom, man. Shalom. But it's a lot of women I know that are getting more and more. They're gravitating more and more to the scriptures. I'm talking about in this past week alone. It's the most I live.
The Lord grooming them.
At least 3 women that I know, all hit me up on some like, I just want to be different. I want to dress more modestly. They talking about, I just got them reading the scriptures, and I had got into an argument. Matter of fact, this is how you know the Lord be working on people. And I'm only gonna bring this up as a quick testimony. A lot of women that I know, a lot of people that I know, they all know I'm an Israelite, so they all know I'm moved by scripture at all times. So you ever notice, like, I don't know if brothers can attest to this, but because they always in the Bible, everybody want to use the Bible when they talking to them. It's almost like, yo, bro, don't use scriptures against me when you know nothing about the scriptures, because you're trying to make a point, because you know I'm always going to use things.
And you using the scriptures against me as a way to justify wickedness.
Exactly.
And which is fucking weird, bro.
Weird as shit. So lately, I got into an argument with this girl, and she was like, using scriptures and coming at me a little wrong. I was like, yo, and I said respectfully, I would appreciate if you not bring up my power in scriptures when you having a conversation with me, because you don't know what you're talking about. And then I had to let her know. I said, if you only knew what you were doing, you wouldn't do it. If you knew how you were treating me and who I was, you would not be treating me like this. And I'm not saying I'm anybody, but I believe that I'm a man of the Lord. So the scriptures tell you that, yo, you got to tread lightly with the men of the Lord. So I had let her know this. We had a big argument. I didn't talk to that girl in, like, let's just say like a month. I got a random text message with a crazy apology and said, everything you said was right. I've been reading the scriptures, everything you said, and I apologize. You're a man of the Lord. I shouldn't have did this and that and that. And it caught me off guard because, one, women don't usually have accountability. 2, and then she actually read the right scriptures. Like, I don't know what the Lord took her mind, and she went, and now, literally, every time I talk to her, and she's just a friend, ain't nothing like that. She's talking about, I just got to read the scriptures. I'm going to go read some scriptures and go to the gym. Oh my goodness, I'm in the book of Numbers right now, but I was reading a little bit of Isaiah, and I'm over here in my head like, I remember a couple of years ago, I couldn't say nothing about the scriptures. I'm not gonna say I have testimonies like this with other people, but I'm noticing that the Lord is definitely working on people. So the same way we see evils increasing in the earth, the Lord is also, I believe, sealing his elect and his 1/3, man. The Lord is if they're not all sealed now, they've all at least been touched to wake up.
He's sealing them and he's grooming the women for the men of the
Lord.
Yo, so look,
grooming.
And this is why. This is still in 2 Ezra 16. It was the next verse down. 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine.
So guess what? What does that mean? What does that mean? There's going to be more women on this. There's already more women on this earth than men anyway, because of all the wars. We just got to read an article that literally, in the war in Ukraine, over 200,000 people have already died. Plus, probably the total is probably higher than that. They're not telling us.
That's calculated.
That's just calculated, right? So you got to think that in the wars that come, billions are going to die, not millions. Billions are going to die. So women are going to be like, yo, there ain't no men out here. And what men do you think are going to be left?
Men of the Lord.
The men of the Lord.
And that's where you get Isaiah 4:1.
Yep. I will make a man more precious than fine gold. Right? That's where you get these precepts from, man. So you got to understand that the Lord is literally setting the stage up for our greatness. That's why it ain't about in that day and time where you're not. Hopefully, you're not one of them people that go, oh man, what should I do in this time? What should I be doing right now? Because those who are in the know, and you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans we've been trying to wake up for years, the elders and apostles before us, and all the great men before us have been trying to wake up for years, man. It's getting to that time, man. It's getting to that time. I truly believe in my spirit that this election is going to be the tipping point. Whichever way it goes, America is through. The dollar, everyone already is bitching about the dollar and inflation and boom, now the border this, the border that. Talk about gangs and race wars, and bro, it's all coming to a final crescendo, if you will. It's that manifesto where it builds up, 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 and that crescendo when it'll just all comes crashing down.
Yep.
That's what we got to have, man.
Yep.
So, Lord willing, this was edifying. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Baha-Rakah-Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, and shalom to the elect. Shalom to you, brother.
The Wadi Bros on the comment board.